Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Redneck Ed. I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and I appreciate everyone watching. We did have a washout this weekend, so I don't really have much footage, but I do have a short video of the Wen Electric Log Splitter and a little tip showing you how I split the larger 24-inch rounds. So there's a couple ways, of course, to go about this. Obviously, the easiest way is to not use an electric log splitter and instead use a big commercial grade splitter with a 4-way wedge. Of course, I don't have that. Another downside of using really any kind of force splitter is that you're in a wedge, 4 or even like a 6-way wedge, is you're going to mash the wood through and you're going to end up with a lot of scraps. Which is good for kindling, but there's only so much kindling that you can use. What I find the better method is to quarter the logs, quarter these big 24-inch rounds with the Fiskars. And I say that coming from a guy who has back problems. You've got the Fiskars maul and you've got the Fiskars axe. The maul is just too heavy for me. I mean, I can do it, but with the back, got to be careful. The axe is just head speed, and these Red Oaks rounds, as long as they're not knotty, they're basically like 1-2 cracks just with head speed, not with force, and you're through them. So that's why I think quartering them is easier than manhandling them on the electric log splitter, which is probably what you've seen in other videos. You've seen people get a huge round up on the electric log splitter and then they'll crack it in half and say mission accomplished. But I tell you, there's a whole lot of manhandling that needs to occur after that first crack happens. Okay, and then last thing before we jump into the video is I want to give a shout out to the UPS man. He stopped by here the other day and noticed that the log piles just kept growing, and we spent about 5 minutes talking about firewood and splitting logs. So I recommended the electric log splitter, and I also referenced him to the channel, so I'm not sure if he's watching. If he is, welcome to the channel, Chris. All right, so here we are with one of these bigger pieces. This is I might have done this one in fifths instead of quartering it. But generally what I have found is that on these larger pieces, and again, just to define that, anything under 12 inches, you can just run through the log splitter. It's really not that big of a deal. In fact, this wedge here that's 10 inches. So what happens here, if I tried to run this through just like it is, I'm going to get hung up because the wedge only comes through down to here. So this part in the middle, you can even see a knot here. It's going to get stringy there. So let me actually go ahead. Let me make sure the vent's open. Let me run it through and I'll show you. So there you go. It's split, but look, it's still stuck. So that's no fun. So the better way to do it that I have found, and I'm going to abandon this piece, I'll switch to another piece with the same issue. We've got some knots there, is get this tip off, and then you have an easier time splitting it. So I'm going to put this in. Let's get the camera down here so you can see this a little better. I'm going to put it in like that and split that tip off, and that'll get the knot out. So there, check it out. That came right off. Now, the rest of this piece will split normal. Now, this is all punky on the outside, so I'm going to have to cleave that off. So that's just the nature of this fungus-infected oak. But now watch what happens when I split it in half, or I split this piece in half. That thing comes right apart. So that's the method that I have found most effective for splitting these big pieces. And again, it all comes down to the center here just seems to always have like stringiness and knottiness. Maybe if this wedge was taller, it wouldn't be an issue. But it's not. And then if you want to see the rest of it here, as far as cleaving the punky part off, you just get in just slightly into the good wood, and it comes right off. And there's a perfectly good piece of barkless red oak. All right, and now it's time for me to get splitting. We are about to get, I think, 2 days of a lot of rain. I'm gonna get this pile split up before that rain sets in. Thanks for watching.